Got the new camera angle and everything in this video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an interesting video, and I'm going to be discussing the sort of main reasons why a dedicated Android user like myself switched over to iPhone in 2022. I'm going to preface this entire video by saying, I still actually prefer Android to iOS. The only reason I'm currently using this iOS device is because I could not find a replaceable sort of Android device for my S21 that I was previously using in all of 2021 and also into 2022. But without further ado, let's discuss some of the main reasons why I'm actually using the iPhone 13 right here and not a Android device. First off, my S21, loved the thing, great screen, decent battery. Sadly, the battery degraded after a while. Really fast processor, also sort of degraded after a while. Great speakers and great build quality, and also really nice to easy to hold in your hand, basically. And one of the main reasons why I actually ended up switching to iOS was my S21 kind of just failed towards the middle to end of its 2-year life cycle, which I think most phones kind of adopt that sort of life cycle. Around the 2-year mark, you start seeing sort of degradations in certain aspects of the device. But the CPU, I could tell, was not as powerful. The battery health was not as powerful. I struggled to get through a full day's charge. And I remember in my actual review, when I reviewed the S21, I even said in that video, this is one of the best battery lives on any device I've ever had. It was probably the best, actually. It lasted me a day and a half and 2 days sometimes, but I just noticed over time with heavy use, I was burning the thing out, and clearly the Samsung batteries are not as good at maintaining themselves over an extended period of time with heavy use, unlike these things right here. And I gotta give props to Apple. I disliked Apple for years, but the thing they do really well is with the CPU in this thing and also the graphics processor. This thing features an A15 Bionic chip, which is also found in the iPhone 14. So they didn't actually upgrade the processor of the 14, which is why I think you should go for a 13, but that's another video. The thing is really good at maintaining battery health. I'm currently on 99% battery health for this after, I think, 6 months of heavy usage on average, I'd say. There's some days I don't use it too much, but there's other days I use it a lot, and it's maintained a healthy battery health percentage over the course of that 6-month time span. And the CPU is so powerful, it can basically handle everything that you throw at it. I don't game much, but I have gamed a little bit on this, not really too graphically intensive games, but it handles gaming just fine. It handles RAM management really well if you have tons of apps open at the same time. It does a stellar job at keeping all those apps open in the background and not slowing down your device too much. As I mentioned, battery life has been phenomenal on this thing. This always lasts me a full day. Maybe sometimes I need to charge it around 11, 12 at night, but that's pretty rare. I can definitely get over a day's usage out of this thing when I'm not using it to the max, essentially. So the CPU, to me, is probably the most important reason why I actually switched over to this. Long story short, the cameras are good. 2 rear-facing cameras. On my Android, I had 3, so this is a downgrade. Front-facing camera on this is, I'd say, fine. It's probably on par with my Samsung. Buttons are clicky. Lightning port, which I really dislike. I don't know why this isn't USB Type-C. It doesn't work with all my, Android accessories that use USB Type-C, and most actual tech these days all use USB Type-C, including the iPad and the MacBooks. iPhones should be getting an update to USB Type-C shortly, so hopefully they do that. Mute switch is nice. Speakers are good. And a lot of people wonder, and screen quality. Liquid Retina XDR display, I think, on this. The colors are good. I wouldn't say it's as good as my Samsungs. Samsungs are a little more saturated, a little more contrasty, which I do prefer, but these are more true-to-life OLED colors. So this is an OLED display. It's sharp. I think the resolution is around 1440p. I know it's above 1080, so I think it's closer to 1440. Face ID is actually really nice, not only for making payments, if you had a credit card on here in your wallet, you can make payments. You just have to have Face ID scan your face and you hold it up to the car reader. It's similar to if you were to use a fingerprint scanner. It's odd. So overall, screen quality is great, Face ID is great, and I'd say overall, even though it's a 60 hertz panel, I've kind of gotten used to that. And luckily, iOS's animations are really smooth, so that it kind of like mimics a faster motion rate. If the animations were really bad and choppy at 60 hertz, you could definitely tell the difference between this and 120 hertz. I can definitely see a difference, but that difference is minimized because of the smooth animations on iOS. And Samsung, sadly, their animations are not up to par with Apple's animations or transitions when opening and closing apps and things like that. So overall, what I want to say is this phone works. It does what it has to do. It has iMessage, which is cool, FaceTime, which is cool. It does what a phone does, like at its core. Like I'd say this is a really bare bones phone. It doesn't do too many interesting things, and I think that's actually one of the reasons people like this is because it's not overly complicated. Although I will say there's settings in this thing that are really complicated to find. Apple, can you update your settings app? It's really bad. It's not an overly complicated device. It does what it has to do to get you through the day. It does what a phone is supposed to do. There's no real complications. You're kind of locked into an ecosystem with this, which I don't actually like. But I feel like I could leave this ecosystem at any time because I already have a Samsung ecosystem built out right now. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'd happy to listen to what you guys have to say about this, your opinions on iOS versus Android, which side you lean towards, and if you think that, and maybe some comments about like going forward, where you picture like the battle between the two brands going in the future. If you think iOS is going to eventually completely take over the market, or you think Android's going to take over the market, because right now Android does own the majority of market share across the world. In the US, it's Apple. But comment down below, and thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I will see you on the next one. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and like this video to help promote it and help me with the YouTube algorithm. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.